It didn't start with creaking doors or ghostly wails. No icy chills creeping up my spine. No sudden shattering events. Just the gentle, almost polite suggestion that I was no longer alone in my own apartment. The first thing I noticed was the blanket. It was nothing at first. I always keep it neatly folded on the back of the couch, perfectly even, corners aligned. Habit. Control. But one morning, it was draped over the armrest. Not thrown or dropped. Placed. Smooth, intentional, with one corner folded just slightly, as if someone had tucked it under their leg while watching television. I stared at it for longer than I should have, trying to remember if I had used it the night before. I hadn't. I was sure I hadn't. I told myself I must, because the alternative was something I wasn't ready to entertain. I folded it back, shook off the thought, and moved on. The next day, the blanket was on the seat cushion. The day after, it was back on the floor, half spread like someone had slid off the couch in the middle of the night. I stopped refolding it. That week, small things began to move. My keys, which I always drop in the same ceramic bowl by the door, began appearing in odd places. First on the kitchen counter, then the bathroom sink, then under my pillow. Under my pillow. I stared at them that morning, trying to convince myself I had done it in my sleep, that I had woken up, moved around, and placed them there, unconscious. But the idea sat wrong. It felt planted. Deliberate. The lights in the hallway began to flicker, not in a broken bulb sort of way, but like they were responding to me. Dimmer when I approached, brighter when I hesitated, like the apartment was watching me. It was subtle at first, easy to dismiss. I wanted to dismiss it, but when I caught my hallway mirror, lagging mirroring my movements, just a second too late, I couldn't. That night, I slept with the light on. The next morning, the light was off. Not burned out. Off. The switch had been flipped. And on my kitchen counter, someone had made toast. 2 slices. Perfectly golden brown. I hadn't bought bread in weeks. There was no butter, no plate. Just the toast, sitting on a paper towel like it had been offered and forgotten. I sat down at the table and whispered, "Thank you." The apartment felt warmer after that. It became a kind of ritual. I started saying hello when I came home. "Hey," I'd murmur into the silence. "You moved my keys again?" And once, just once, I thought I heard a quiet tap from the radiator pipe. A polite knock. A yes. From then on, things became shared. The television turned itself on at 8:03 p.m. every night, always to the same black and white channel. Silent films, sometimes horror, sometimes comedy. Always grainy. Always monochrome. I left it playing. My shoes were sometimes turned to face the door. The closet closed itself if I left it cracked. The curtains were drawn slightly in the morning if I forgot the night before. Little courtesies, domestic rhythms. It wasn't scary. It felt like living with someone kind. Until it moved into the mirror. I noticed it brushing the surface while I brushed my teeth. My reflection blinked before I did. Its mouth parted slightly when mine didn't. Only once. And only briefly, but I knew. Something was watching me through myself. I left the bathroom door open that night. I whispered, "You're welcome here. Just be gentle." The next morning, my bedroom smelled like roses, subtle, old, like dried petals, pressed into the pages of a book. On my desk was a single dried rose head, perfectly intact. I hadn't bought flowers in years. My name started appearing, not spoken aloud but written, on the fogged mirror after a shower, in the dust on the shelf, once in condensation on the window. "Welcome, my name." Things escalated. Not violently, just deeply. I began waking up having dreamed of a woman I'd never met. Pale face, hollow eyes. She never spoke. Just stood in my apartment, not threatening, not smiling, just present. Watching. Waiting. I'd find fingerprints on the fridge the next day, too small to be mine, too perfect. The last dream was different. She sat at my kitchen table, legs folded neatly, hands resting on a mug I didn't own. She looked up at me as I entered the room and mouthed something. I woke up mid-sentence, saying the words aloud. "This is your place now." Since then, the apartment has changed. I haven't rearranged anything, but the light feels more golden, the air more still, the silence more shared. I never see her directly, but I feel her, sometimes brushing past me as I reach for the cupboard, sometimes resting at the edge of the bed, just before sleep takes me. She doesn't knock. She doesn't ask. But every morning, the toast is there. And every night, my blanket is waiting. It's been 2 months. I haven't lived alone in a long time. I don't talk about it to anyone, not because I'm afraid they won't believe me, but because I'm afraid they will, and they'll try to fix it, cleanse it, erase it. And I don't want her to leave. She isn't a threat. She's not a phantom trailing screams down the hallway or yanking covers off in the night. She's an inhabitant, a housemate with preferences, quiet routines, presence, not performance. And I've learned her language. If I forget to say goodnight, the window won't open in the morning. If I whistle while I clean, the bathroom mirror fogs with handprints. If I hum a tune she likes, the lights dim gently, like the whole apartment is listening. It's become our rhythm. She rearranges the furniture by millimeters, shifts the couch legs into more pleasing angles. Sometimes I come home and the art on the wall is tilted just slightly, in a way that looks better, like she's fine-tuning the space. And once, after I cried into my pillow until I couldn't breathe, I woke up with the pillowcase turned over, dry and cool, and my blanket wrapped tightly around my chest. That was the first time I felt her hand. Not cold, not heavy, just resting, weightless, on my back. Steady, patient, not there to scare me, just there to witness. After that, the dreams changed. She didn't just watch from corners anymore. She started walking the space with me. We never spoke. She didn't have a face, just a dim softness that followed a breath behind mine. I could feel her fingertips brushing the walls, trailing the grooves in the paint. She knew this apartment long before me. One night, she brought me to a room that doesn't exist. It was behind the hall closet. In the dream, the closet door opened deeper than it should have. I followed her in. There was no light, but I could see somehow. A long corridor, lined with faded photographs. All of them of this apartment, but older, decades older. I saw the carpet I'd replaced, the wallpaper that had been painted over, the cracked window that no longer exists. She stopped in front of one photo. I leaned close. It was a woman at the kitchen table, her hair up, her face turned toward the camera, and her hands folded neatly in her lap. In front of her, 2 slices of toast. I woke up before I could ask. The next morning, I found a note, folded in half, left on my table. My name wasn't on it, but I knew it was for me. Inside, a newspaper clipping. Old, yellowed, no date, just an obituary. Marin Talbot, 31, passed peacefully in her home. I read it twice. No mention of family, no survivors, just a single line. She made the space feel like a person. I haven't moved the note. I haven't thrown away the toast. She's more active now, but not invasive. Sometimes I hear her humming through the wall snot in my ears, but in the structure. The radiator pipes resonate. The floorboards shift in rhythm. If I hum back, the hallway light flickers once. We communicate. I told her, once, aloud, "You can stay." And that night, the couch was turned to face the window. My mug was filled, warm. Steam rose, faintly scented with lavender. I don't own lavender tea. She started leaving gifts. Little things. A polished stone on my windowsill. An unfamiliar book on the nightstand. Once, a ring, thin, worn, sized perfectly for my pinky. There are more dreams. She doesn't guide me anymore. Now she waits for me. I sit with her in the kitchen that doesn't exist. I bring her stories. She listens. She never moves. But when I wake, I feel less alone. I've stopped calling this a haunting. It's not. It's a kind of return. A folding together of times. Of lives. Like she's not possessing the space, just resuming something that had been paused. The apartment has never felt so lived in. I never see her, not clearly, but I feel her behind me when I cook. Sometimes she adjusts my hand when I chop vegetables. Slight pressure, gentle correction. Sometimes she breathes when I can't. Once, I left for the weekend. When I came back, the whole apartment felt still, not empty, just hurt. The air was heavy, the toast was stale. The mirror didn't fog when I showered. I whispered, "I'm sorry." That night, she returned. No anger, no cold, just a single shift, my blanket placed across my lap while I sat at the table. I whispered, "Thank you." The lights dimmed slightly, like a nod. I think she wanted to be remembered. And now that she is, she's here.